Good Friday morning, Jerry Miller. Welcome to Real Talk. This an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness. It's powered by Keith Smith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors, trusted advisors in the real estate game in the Commonwealth, Central Virginia, and certainly in the Charlottesville area. Keith and Yonna Smith. Today's program, a fabulous one, and of course it is. Keith Smith, the executive producer, has organized it himself. He has Sasha Farmer, and she's going to join us in T-minus, say, Sasha, 2 minutes on today's program. He's lined up Matt Kneece. He may be a rookie in real estate, but he's made a huge impact in Central Virginia already, Matt Kneece, with his meals movement. And congratulations, Matt, as I follow you on social media on your first listing. So we're going to go from an established and Sasha Farmer, a boutique broker, to someone who's new to the game. Keith has put a fabulous program together. Let's go to the star of the show. Studio camera, please, and welcome the distinguished gentleman to the program. I love the dichotomy of the guests today. All hard workers, different points of their career.
Yeah, and like I said before we went on air, Sasha and I have been trying to put this together for about a year now, and she'll share this a little bit when she gets online. But she's a pretty dynamic speaker on her own right, and travels the country, and is just a pretty awesome person to be around. And we do have a little bit of a special guest on the back end of the show.
I was going to let you do that.
No, we'll do a tease on it.
Okay, so it's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
We have a surprise, big-time guest on the back end of the program.
Absolutely.
Here on Real Talk. Very excited for today's show. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great. It's got a new mask on, and it's fogging up my glasses, so I'm trying to adjust that a little bit.
It's very streamlined.
Thank you.
Don't you think?
I don't know.
It's a streamlined mask. You look good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got, and I noticed since Tuesday, or the last time my eyes were on you, you got a haircut.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Did you get a haircut?
I could have. Maybe I did.
Did your sister go to you, or did you go to your sister?
I will never give up my secrets.
Okay, so your sister went to your house.
I'm not giving up any secrets.
She did a hell of a job, dude.
I know nothing.
Hairsmith and Company.
I know nothing. I know nothing.
Okay.
Will you introduce?
All right. I'm sorry. All right. So. Well done with the haircut. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. This is Real Talk. It's powered by the Yes Team Realtors. It's also powered by Patrick and Jason, Marie Bett.
Oh, yeah. If once the mask comes off, I'll be able to have a sip of that coffee. We love those guys to death.
Give us some insight into Sasha Farmer Tripp before we get her on the line.
I'd really like her to do that.
Okay.
She does it so well and speaks so well. And what I want to do is just get into the Realtor stuff. So I'll let you do the intro and we'll take it from there.
Fantastic. Judah Wickhauer, our director, you're a fabulous person. I am Skyping Sasha Farmer now. I'm very excited to welcome her to the broadcast. Give us the thumbs up when we can welcome her to the show, and we'll have her on here. I am getting the thumbs up now, Sasha. You are live for Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world here on Real Talk. The show is yours. Introduce yourself, please, to the viewing public.
I'm Sasha Tripp, newly changed from Sasha Farmer. I own Story House Real Estate, and we've been around for just over 2 years now. We're a boutique brokerage. We have 10 people there, 5 full-time agents, 6 total that are kind of out there beating the streets, and we are just getting things sold in amongst COVID and everything else that's going on. So thanks for having us.
You've built a killer brand. I loved your listing on the east side of town. I recently moved to the Keswick area. You put it on the market. I think it goes under contract ASAP, a testament to you and what you guys are doing. How about this question before I pass you to Keith? Your start in real estate. I remember you at UVA. I remember you coming out of UVA. You crushed it there. Correct me if I'm wrong, were in magazine advertising sales with Eric Lund. From there, you got into real estate and really just absolutely have gone nothing but north since then, Sasha.
That's actually hilarious that you mentioned that, because I sort of have forgotten about that job. I did sales with him for like 6 months probably, but I was at that time full-time working for a staffing firm, which was a really interesting start to the world. So I was doing like temporary staffing placements, which means I was talking to all the HR managers in town about what they needed and who was coming and going. And as it turns out, that's a really good segue into real estate and figuring out about employment and who's moving and who's getting hired and who's getting fired. Oh, hey, Keith. Look at you. You are looking good in there. It's kind of nice to be able to do this in my own house, and I don't have to mask up.
I love your barn door behind you, by the way.
So do I.
Thank you. I've got the reclaimed wood background everywhere.
Looking good. So thank you. This has been going on for about a year. We've been trying
13 months.
We've been trying to get you to join us. I wish you were sitting across the table from us, but we'll do this at our next visit. So, I was thinking on the way in this morning, I've been doing this for probably almost as old as you guys.
How long have you been doing this for?
87.
Okay. All right.
But every time I have a conversation with Sasha, I learn something. So that's testament to you. You're an awesome speaker. I've listened to you speak multiple times, and again, I walk away learning something. So I just want to get into a little bit of Realtor geek, right? If you don't mind. So how is your business doing? Are you you're seeing buyers, you're seeing sellers? How is your company managing this COVID-19?
Love it.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, I've been really interested in how it's gone because when all this started, I mean, we were ready to like batten down the hatches. We started looking at all of our expenses. We were really evaluating everything as though we needed to go into recession mode. And what we actually found during the last 60 days is that we are actually trending upward probably 15% over where we were this time last year. And I think a lot of people are surprised to see that. For us, under the 400,000 price point, really 350 is like the real margin for us. We're seeing activity all over the place. Like houses are selling, things are moving. We've been able to set up enough, safety precautions to make people feel comfortable that they can tour a house. And we're seeing a ton of activity. Obviously, it's not the right time for everybody, but it's still the right time for a lot of people. And the interest rates that are being held down, that I hope will be held down up through the election,
Amen.
They are certainly not hurting the cause. So we are seeing the economy being stimulated the best way we can, and it's been great for our company. But we went to work hard instead of easing up when all of this came out.
So I like to read. I like to read our industry, and I read something interesting. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Freddie and Fannie are predicting sub 3% mortgages.
Awesome.
Particularly around the VA and FHA loans, which as a vet, and we're coming up on Memorial Day, so thank you to our vets.
Let's bring it, baby.
Yeah. So, I believe that our spring is going to be in late summer. Matter of fact,
right.
Mr.
Tell her, Sasha, hear about our wager. Tell her about our wager. Just give her the easy part, the volume part.
So the important part is we're betting a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah, bottle of bourbon.
That's the important
okay, so
part.
I'm in. I'm invested now.
So what we're betting is that the fourth quarter of this year will be about 80% of the first quarter or the spring market in 19, right? So I'm projecting we're going to be around 85% of the volume that we were in. So basically our spring is going to be later on in this
He's basically saying the spring is in the fourth quarter, Sasha. What do you think of that?
I get it. Yeah. Well, I mean, spring definitely wasn't the spring and the demand's still there. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Unless people have had devastating job loss that has put them in a place not to move when they were planning to move. I do think, I think third quarter is not going to be too shabby either, quite honestly. So third and fourth, I think we're going to see a little bit of a spread, but yeah, absolutely. We were meant to have more sales than we did. And this is not a housing crash by any means.
So Jude is going to pop up a slide here, but according to NAR, 77% of sellers are preparing to sell their homes at the end of this COVID stay-at-home order, which is going to be late summer.
That's phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about this on Tuesday. As you know, I sit on some affordable housing nonprofits and so forth and so on. I'm really concerned about the affordability index for the folks at the lower end of the buying range. But as far as what we do for a living, I don't see any slowdown at all.
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah, it'll be usually the election year causes some pause in the market, but right now, this is not a political statement, but right now, whoever's in leadership is going to want the economy to look as good as possible going into the election after COVID. So I think we're going to see great interest rates up until then. And, I think we're really well poised for a great end of the year. Absolutely. So we're excited and we're just trying to gear up.
So what are you coaching your agents when you have a seller saying, hey, is now a good time to put the house on the market? What are you guys coaching your agents? What does that conversation look like?
Well, for us, we're really trying to figure out people's circumstance. If they are not fearful themselves of COVID and they feel comfortable with the precautions that we're taking, which are pretty tremendous. We've got booties, gloves, mask. We've got the agent touching the door handle to get in, but all other doors in the house are left open. Everybody's doing tours, touchless tours, essentially. We've got the video tours of properties. We've done everything we can think of that we've learned how to do to protect our sellers. If they are comfortable having bodies in their home at this point in time, we are telling them to list their home. And, we have had almost every single property that we've listed in this COVID quarantine has been under contract, in a shorter period of time than we would have expected 6 months ago. So, and we're just seeing that things are moving fast. Now, the higher price points, I don't want to make any guarantees for that. The higher price points are still a struggle, and the mortgage opportunities for some of those jumbo loans are clearly, receding a little bit. So we've got some struggles there. However, in that lower range, we're telling people to sell. If you're comfortable being out there, we're telling you that it's a good time to go.
Good analysis.
Yeah. What do you think I've been trying to get her on for a year? Right.
We got a lot of people jumping in.
So what I'm going to do is I got some stuff I'm going to ask on the back end. Jerry's going to take you over and ask some questions from the feed.
Barbara Lundgren says, Sasha, you absolutely rock. Grayson Crozet says she's fantastic at what she does. You have 9 different firms watching the program as we speak. How about this question, Sasha? The move from density to suburbia for some backyard to kind of handle a quarantine and COVID. Your thoughts on that topic?
It's so interesting. I was expecting to start hearing people talk more about having home offices and being a little further away, a little more separated, a little more isolated. I think people are talking about it more. I think the fact that it's partnered with people going through a little financial distress right now doesn't help, because it's like to go out that far, you want to be further, you want to be more isolated, but then you've got to pay gas prices and you're not as close to conveniences. So I think those things are kind of battling each other right now. But when we get through some of the financial hump, I would be shocked if we don't see people a little more attracted to just getting off from, not being on top of each other in these tight neighborhoods. So, they had their run. They will still have lots of popularity for a multitude of different reasons, but there are some people that are going to be very scared off by that.
Guys, we're live on 12 different Facebook pages, and we have a number of folks watching. Your colleague, Brittany Moore, is watching. Orange County High School's finest, one of the superstar standouts on the hardwood in Orange County history. Elizabeth Cromwell is watching, the president and chief executive officer of the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, friends, to the broadcast. How about the concept of dense living, a little spread out? How are you going to see this impacting, like, say, multifamily? How are you going to see it impacting the townhome space? Or is this just something that's a hiccup that we're going to get over and it's not going to have an impact at all?
It's interesting. In other markets, I might expect it to have more of an impact, but I think about Charlottesville and what Keith was saying about affordability, and I think unfortunately, we don't all have the luxury of living as spread out as we want to, and prices are not going down. In fact, we're seeing bidding wars on quite a few properties right now. So we are currently not seeing anything that's going to improve affordability in the very short term. So as much as people might want that, I don't know that it's going to have a tremendous impact in the very near future. I think some of this has to settle out before we'll be able to see what people can afford and how it will affect market pricing long term, if that makes sense.
Sure. Elizabeth Cromwell from the Chamber of Commerce says Sasha is one of the most strategic thinkers I know. Her service on the Chamber of Commerce is invaluable on the board. More comments coming in for you, Sasha. I'm going to pass you to Keith. A couple more questions for you. I remember when we were coming out of school and we were getting in the workforce, all these major publications, USA Today, started calling us the best place to live in America. And then before we know, we have this flood of folks from outside the area coming here because of this national press. A lot of these people, Sasha, as you know, were touched by Charlottesville when they went to UVA and say, let's come here and relocate. Can we expect a similar type of flood moving forward because of COVID as people choose to piece out of like the DCs, the Novas, the New York Cities, and maybe come back to an area that they love? You look at the metrics from the Thomas Jefferson Health District, this place is pretty darn safe. I'm not trying to marginalize anything here, but the metrics are pretty low here from a case standpoint. I'll get out of your way.
Yeah, certainly compared to the big cities, we are looking pretty good. So yeah, I mean, people, I feel like, my UVA alumni friends have always looked for an excuse to come back here. So if they are in these really dense cities and they have had a really bad run with this or have been particularly, awakened to the possibilities that this creates in the future, I think Charlottesville will continue to be an attractive place when you're trying to get away from density at all times. And yes, I think on the grand scale of things, our numbers have looked very good, certainly compared to these higher metropolitan areas. So yeah, I think a lot of people have a lot of rethinking to do about what they're really looking for and what's important in the long run. But of course, I'm a huge advocate for Charlottesville. COVID, no COVID, I'm an advocate regardless. There's still a very good quality of life to be had here comparatively.
Amen.
So I'll play the age card a little bit here. So that cycle has been happening since '87 when I came here, right? We talked about this there's a reason why, there's a joke, there's a reason why Lake Monticello has gates, is to keep the Yankees in, right? So, we have constantly seen the Northeast come down here. '87, it was a different reason, right? People wanted to get the hell out of the city. You're going to see that. We just did a couple of transactions from Northern Virginia last week, same exact thing. But I'm going to ask Judy to put up slide 3 because a Harris poll that you guys were talking about, this neighborhood change.
Yeah.
So there was a Harris poll done last week nationwide. 39% of the folks are saying, I want to be out of an urban environment,
right,
and into a less dense. And I didn't prepare for it today, but there's a 2019 study that NAR has done. This millennial trend has actually been going on for quite some time. But I just want to give a shout out to Sasha because I did some numbers this morning, and you're spot on. The sweet spot's in the low to mid 3s, right? But I just did a week over week. Last week, 25-mile radius. What is just sold, what's closed, versus the same week in 2019, with the exception I took from when the governor said to stay at home on March 25th. So it's interesting. We are up $27,000. So the median was 369 this year. Last year, same week, same set parameters, was 324. So we're not going down, we're going up. And the availability of product is just not there.
Michael Guthrie, watching Sasha and Keefe, Chief Executive Officer Roy Wheeler, one-time car president, he says moving out is happening right now from urban areas. Guys, 40% of New York City is considering moving, according to reports. Scott Morris, the mortgage broker, watching now. Michael also says Virginia Realtor Chief Economist Lisa Sturdivant said yesterday May through June will be an uptick in business and real estate. Show's yours, Keith.
Yeah. When we've been preaching this on the show and betting it on the show since the last 2 months, but I want to pivot a little bit, right? So your people talk to a ton of buyers. So what's their wish list? So their wish list is changing, right? Do they want more room? Do they want more natural light? Are you seeing any wish list change in the last 60 days?
Good question.
Yeah, well, I think people are saying that they have changes in their wish list, but as we all know, that doesn't necessarily mean that what they end up finally buying will match that wish list. However, I certainly am hearing people talking more about home offices. Like, I think what we're going to see is a lot of companies have found that there are some virtual opportunities that they were missing in the past, and now everybody knows how to use Zoom. So everybody's got opportunities virtually that we did not have before, that we were not creative enough about before. So I think home offices, designated space. I'm hearing lots of people talking about a home gym. Obviously, there's more than just the house, the room in the house that can create a home gym. So there's more to that. But I think we're seeing a lot of mention of the wish list. I mean, for me, it would be a giant fridge of alcohol.
Me too.
Like, that's just a room just for that, for the future, in case this happens again and everybody's stuck with their kids again. But, people say it and then they go, and in practice, when they go to buy the house, I don't know that a lot of those things end up, you don't necessarily get your entire wish list, as has always been the case. But I think people are thinking about it a little more, the open concept may not be quite as popular in the future.
She's a Wahoo. Giant fridge of alcohol. I love that. That's what I want in my house. A giant
I'm telling
fridge.
you what I'm hearing, evidence-based truths. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. But yeah, people are
Well,
certainly
guys, I
thinking
just
about
want to let
being
you know.
pent up into small
That's
spaces
not
together.
exclusive to UVA graduates. I'm a Marine. Pretty much every Marine.
You know what a wahoo is, right?
I know what a wahoo
It's a fish that can drink twice its own weight, carry twice its own weight.
I know a lot of Marines that can carry their own.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
So I asked you that question for a reason, because there's a recent NAR study which you're familiar with. Slide number 4, please, Judah. So they actually did a study, right? And you were spot on. More space, more natural light, home gym, add a bathroom, update, and a larger yard and patio. That was pretty much how it all levitated. So you're hearing exactly the same thing we're hearing and all the other agents. So obviously it must be true, right? So, I've been waiting to have this conversation with you for so long, and I had so many things I wanted to say and lost some of it. But you're such a rock star. I'd like to talk a little bit about what you do outside of real estate, right? So you do a ton of volunteer work, right? So
I do.
I think we both have.
Sometimes I feel like just a full-time professional volunteer. I've kind of reined in a little bit of that lately, and have been really committed lately to the United Way and the Chamber of Commerce, those two board of directors. So those keep me busy, and I haven't been able to do quite as much. I was doing a lot with computers for kids. I was an advocate family for Habitat for Humanity, but I did have to rein it in. Quite honestly, when I opened my company, there was my volunteering and community stewarding period of my life when I was kind of building up my business and building up my marketing and my acquaintances. And then when I opened the business, I knew at that point I had to make a commitment to my team as a leader, to all of them, to put my time and my focus and my energy there to make sure that we were on good standing. And now at the 2-year mark, I'm actually really excited because I am able to feel comfortable sort of digging back into some of the stuff in the community that I really loved doing, but of course is time consuming and has you running all over, different parts of town and just a little less accessible. But I will say with COVID and all the virtual stuff that's coming, I am looking forward to greater efficiencies that will allow some of this stuff to be done so that I'm not necessarily driving an hour round trip and then sitting in a meeting, losing half of a business day every time, something in the community is going on. So I'm excited about that.
I will straight up say this, and I've said this multiple times here. COVID and this pandemic has made my firm, that's 12 years old on May 31st, guys, more efficient and more productive than it's ever been. We were forced with our backs against the wall to change or be not relevant. And I'm not going to be relevant. And we changed, and we are more efficient than we've ever been, pivoted the model, and I completely agree with her. Through hardship comes massive innovation. And I think we would be remiss with you on the line. Your man's watching the show right now. Huge fan.
Oh, yay. He's downstairs somewhere. Try not to be too loud.
Huge fan of your guy here. I would be remiss not to ask you about restaurants. Obviously, you're passionate about Smoked, about the Fitzroy here. I'm getting out of your way here. They've been hit hard. Give us some insight here, Sasha.
I'm nervous for a lot of them. I know that if you look at the national restaurant industry, what they're saying about statistics, they are saying that 70 to 75% of independent small restaurants will not survive. I would say, Smoked is the one that Kelly's still owner, operator, in the trenches with right now. They pivoted quickly, really quickly. We now started just yesterday was our first CVille drop off.
I saw that.
So we're dropping off at Albemarle Square. Everything's curbside. They had to get new machinery, new hardware in the office in the restaurant to be able to accommodate touchless everything. Everybody's taking safety precautions. They've changed their menu. They've changed their offerings, and they're getting it done. And they are doing, they're in Crozet, which I think it's not as highly served, and there's not as dense a restaurant population there. They're getting it done. They're surviving, not without a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but they are making it. And I'm really nervous for a lot. I mean, we are friends with so many of the restaurant owners in town, and I'm really nervous for a lot of them, quite honestly. We talk to them daily, and everybody's got hardships.
I was so impressed with the boosted post campaign that Smoke did featuring Justin, holding to-go food. It was boosted post in my newsfeed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to pick up the phone and order right now. I very much encourage anyone watching this program to support this business. They are doing it right. Smoked is absolutely phenomenal. Smith has some. Keith, you have some, we got some stuff from Keith over here to fire at you.
he took me away from you. It's okay. It only took me a year to get you here, and he just takes.
Hey, I'll be back. You know what? Now we found Fridays are the trick. We
Fridays.
Down, but I'll be back.
Fridays. So you do some public speaking, right? And so can you tell me a little bit about what you do with that, please?
So I do public speaking for kind of real estate association, realtors, groups of realtors, big, top producing groups of realtors with different companies all over the nation. And I speak and travel, basically just training my own colleagues on how to run a team, how to form a business, profit and loss, how to run real estate more like a business and less like a hobby when you're kind of newer and fresher and greener and you don't really know what you're doing. Training and hiring and firing for the real estate industry, training in marketing and getting listings sold. So I love it. A lot of people, I have to give a shout out to Montague Miller. That's the company that brought me up and sort of taught me what I know to this day. They sort of helped usher me into the real estate field. They passed great knowledge along to me. I have tons of expertise that came from other colleagues in Charlottesville. And this is just sort of my way, whether in the local market or nationally, it's my way of kind of paying it forward and giving it to the next person so that I feel like people get started in this industry and have to go through learning, but with a lot more errors and trial and error than they should have to. And it should be an easier path. And so I hope that if I can give people just little tidbits that will help them overcome obstacles a little faster than I did, then, that's all I can do. But it feels like a responsibility, but I also love it. It brings me a lot of joy.
So you're selling yourself a little short, right? You're super awesome at what you do, and you're super awesome with the way you travel. And I meant what I said in the beginning. I've sat in a few of your presentations, and I walked, if you're doing this for several decades, you think you know everything, but you really don't. And then, you learn.
We never do.
Yeah, amen to that. And then you learn something. So we're coming up on our end time. I think.
Tons of questions.
We got tons of questions.
I'm gonna pick three of these.
If it's okay with you, can we just keep you on a little bit longer?
Yeah, sure. Go
cool.
For
so
it.
I'm gonna let Jerry wrap up, and then I'll say goodbye at the very end.
Okay. So you have. So Brittany Moore is watching. She says Sasha is amazing. I've enjoyed learning from her. This is a good question. So why don't we do kind of like a rapid fire? We got Matt Kneece coming up. Guys, we have, I say, 12 questions here for Sasha on maybe 14 on 12 Facebook pages. We'll pick 3 here. This is from Lonnie Murray, who's watching and enjoying the conversation. Can you ask your guests if people are fleeing density, leaving density, will suburban sprawl and protecting our rural areas be an emergent problem? We'd be making progress in Albemarle, directing growth into the growth area. Will that progress be lost? That's a good question. I think the growth is going to stay in the growth area, but the question's for you, Sasha.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that. I think, it's so hard to predict what problems are going to come. I think certainly, whether they come to Charlottesville or not, leaving those metropolitan areas, I think is a guarantee. I think that is going to start happening. I assume people will be attracted to Charlottesville as they always have. So I assume that it will continue to push on, our boundaries and what we have here. And yeah, I imagine that it will become problematic because we're running out of places to build. Like having nice homes and nice lands and nice land and property out in those areas is already a struggle. So it's already really sought after and it's already hard to find. So I believe it'll become even harder.
Nice. 2 more questions. Sarah Hill Buczynski, the realtor, is watching. She says, all local branches of my family have enjoyed Smoke delivery in the last 60 days. They pivoted quickly, and Smoked is doing a phenomenal job. The
Buczynskis have been huge supporters.
Yes.
We're very
Yes. Here's a question from a mortgage broker, Buster Fox, Monticello High School's finest, one of the best baseball players in Monticello history. For anyone to answer, can you throw this to Sasha and Keith Jerry? He's a mortgage broker. I feel as if I'm seeing a lot more escalated clauses coming across my desk. So far, so good. It isn't impacting people I see. The question I have for your guests, have you seen any impact on contract negotiations regarding appraisals not coming in high enough? And I'll get out of the way.
I'll share this with Keith. I was just saying this to my team yesterday. I feel like what we are seeing right now, we are not seeing a lot of shortages in appraisals. And I don't know if it's because if a buyer's willing to buy right now and a seller's willing to sell, an appraiser's trying to not break that deal apart in light of what's going on in the world. I don't know. But we have seen tons of escalations. They're not tremendous escalations by like multiple percent, but it's enough to kind of, you're going over the list price and you're trying to eke out other competition. But we have not had any, knock on wood, it like scares me to say that because we have so many appraisals coming up next week. We have not had any recent shortages in appraisal. And I don't know if Keith is experiencing that, but I think it's maybe people just trying to keep the market together if there's a willing buyer and an able seller.
So I would echo that. We have not seen any. Actually, we're seeing them appraising higher than the contract price.
I know. We got to keep knocking on wood because
we're knocking on IKEA over here.
IKEA.
Fake IKEA. Yeah.
That's right.
Come here, Jerry.
But no, we have not seen trouble with it all, thankfully, at this moment.
So I want to go back and add a little perspective to the growth area question because it's kind of my world a little bit. The reality of it is, in order for the current growth area to change, it takes years for that process to happen. So to echo,
it's not going to change.
It's not going to change.
Right. We're working with what we've got.
Exactly.
Right. Whatever growth area we have,
it's going to be 5% of the county for a long, long time.
It's going to be 5% of the county for a long, long time, which again is going to put pressure on pricing.
Oh yeah.
Right, and affordability, but
that's another show.
That's another show, but
I know the escalation thing. It breaks my heart to see the numbers. I mean, people think that agents just want the price to go up and up and up, but if you think about it, that's not sustainable for us on the long term. Like, it breaks my heart to see these properties just continue to go up and up and up. Obviously, it's what you have to do for your seller, but yeah, we're gonna continue to have problems. We've had problems since I started.
I think there's a show right there to bring you in on it because we do. Yonna and I do escalations maybe a little differently than other folks do, so it'd be a great thing to have a round table on how that works on it. So we got to call
Kneece.
in.
Yeah,
we got to call in. We went a little over.
Yeah, she was awesome.
So super
That's
awesome.
Okay, we'll do this another time.
You were awesome at this, dude. You were awesome at this.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a great rest of the week. Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day. Sasha, you crushed it. Thank you for joining us on the show, guys. Matt Kneece is going to join us in a matter of moments. He's new to the game, but he's making a quick impact and building his brand very quickly, specifically through a meals movement that he has created. We'll welcome Matt Kneece to the program here shortly. We are live on 12 different Facebook pages on the I Love CVille Network. Dot the I's and cross the T's on Sasha Tripp.
So I got to keep on calling this Sasha Tripp.
Sasha Tripp.
Because I keep on wanting to call it.
She's done such a phenomenal job branding herself as Sasha Farmer because she's a master brander.
It just rolls.
Right.
It rolls right
it's ingrained. Yeah.
So, and I just knew this was going to be a great conversation. I had to keep on checking my phone to see where we were on.
One of the best.
We were on time. Absolutely. And I'm really excited about having this escalation conversation because I really want to, in front of everybody, kind of figure out how everybody does it a little bit differently. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Buster and Kelly Tripp, welcome to the show. Kelly Tripp, Sasha's husband, goes on the feed. That girl is hot. Kelly Tripp, we love smoked. I love you, homie. Tell Justin I said that, please. Give it a like and a share. Literally hammer the like button right now on any of the 12 Facebook pages you're watching the show. Do it for Sasha.
So on smoked,
I love smoked.
Well, I take my mother there when we were able to do this. I go out on mommy-son dates with my mother, and we're big ice cream fans, so we'll go to Smoked, have lunch, and then we'll go to Crozet Creamery, have some ice
Greg
cream.
Slater, baby.
Greg Slater, yeah.
Someone get Greg Slater in the mix. I love Greg Slater on this program. Greg Slater's got a tremendous beard going on. Someone tell Greg Slater that.
He needs to shave it.
I like that beard.
Oh, man.
Beards are in.
Do not tell him that.
Why?
Oh, he'll go.
I like Greg Slater's beard.
His head's this big already.
I like Greg Slater. Judah, I'm going to, let's welcome Matt Kneece. I'm going to Skype him in. Giving Judah Wickower, our director, a heads up on that. In fact, Judah, it's ringing now. Matt Kneece is building a brand.
Yeah, so he gets it.
Yeah.
You know, you can watch somebody pretty quickly on, you know, they get that 110% in, and this is one of these young men that...
He figured it out. He's figured it out, yeah.
But he'll tell a little bit about himself, and when he does, it'll 2 and 2 will equal 4.
I like it. Judah, we have him on the line. Give me the thumbs up to welcome Matt Kneece in the program. I'm getting that thumbs up now. And Matt, before I'm going to welcome you to the show, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. So you are 6'4", 6'5".
Oh, a little more than that.
You're freaking jacked. Okay. Okay. You can throw up some serious weight at ACAC. I've seen it firsthand. You're a sharp-dressed, good-looking, well-spoken guy. You're a leader in the community. You started a movement that hit $10,000 in 45 days or so. All right, Matt, you have some unfair advantages working for you already to start, Matt Kneece. Welcome to the show, homie. You are live for Charlottesville and Central Virginia, Matt Kneece.
Thank you so much. Well, if you can't see how red my cheeks are from there,
we can see.
They're blushing worse than ever, but I appreciate it a lot. It means a lot.
Introduce yourself to the viewing public, homie.
So my name is Matt Kneece. I'm a little bit over 6'4", as I think Keith said. But I've worked in the community for the past couple years. I was a UVA grad in 2016. I did my master's here after coming down from the Northeast, like Keith was talking about. So I was actually born and raised in Massachusetts, and I went to undergrad up there. I came here for my master's degree. I've worked in sales for several years, and newly entering the real estate business.
So are we saying 6'6", 230? What are we saying?
I'm 6'7", 6'8", just about 230. Yeah.
There you go. That's we got LeBron James on the phone line right here. LeBron James is on the show.
That's what Keith's used to me. Hey, man.
Hey, Matt. How's it going, man? Yeah, when I stand next to him, I'm not used to standing next to guys and being in there. Like,
I've seen the photos. It was funny. You encouraged him. Did you encourage him to get a sharp blazer?
No, he did not need to do that. He came prepared for that. He's a sharp dresser. We trade notes from time to time.
I like it.
And I'm losing, by the way. I'm losing on all this. But I have to tell you, I'm a little jealous right now. I think maybe the man crush is kind of changing a little bit here. I'm losing a little bit. I
try to make all our guests very comfortable.
Got it.
Try to make a guest.
I appreciate that.
So I shouldn't be jealous then.
Good, Matt.
So, man, a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, you're a rock star, love you to death. But what does it feel like to start this in the middle of this COVID-19? Man, you graduated from real estate.
Ask them the dates. When? Give us the timestamps. There you go. Yeah.
So when did you get your license?
So I began studying. I took the course 100% online, the real estate course. So I started that November 1st. In January, I took the exam and passed. I got my license back from the board February 23rd, 24th, that range. And then 2 weeks later, isn't March 13th, 14th, the big, one of the noticeable dates of when the shutdown really started. So 2 weeks after I got my license, the pandemic's really started.
Man.
So what are you thinking?
Yeah.
So how do you wrap your brain? How do you wrap your brain around that? And then how do you wrap your brain around that and do what you're doing? Right.
Give us the vulnerability first. I mean, give us the fear and the vulnerability so we can understand what it takes to be successful. Because everyone's scared and fearful and vulnerable, Matt.
And that's what I was trying to ask.
Definitely, that's a really good question, Jerry. And I think, honestly, I've been listening to the show and I've been learning a lot. Sasha is someone that I look up to a lot. We had met before I even started in the business. And Jerry, like you said earlier, it's sink or swim when you start your own business. And especially in times of adversity, it pushes the adapt or die memo more than anything. And this was something that I really wanted. And I knew that coming into this, it would require a level of creativity, a level of just thought process that I wasn't at yet. So I was really nervous. Thankfully, I was still working full time. So I felt like I had some sort of safety blanket or safety net. But I mean, I was really nervous at first to see if anything would work or to see what would happen.
So he's a Division III basketball player.
I literally, Stephen Lewis Warner just said you're a tremendous basketball player. I literally have 5 people on the feed that have said this dude can play hoops.
He can play. Thanks. And who did you play against that we all know around here?
In which one? Oh, Mamadi. Mamadi is kind of like one of the big fun facts.
Yeah.
That's big. Mamadi DJ.
And you kind of stuck with them a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a few names. Mamadi, when Mamadi first moved here and he was still a red shirt, he would play pickup with me sometimes. Jack Salt and I go back a little bit. Jack Salt was a good guy. If you guys remember a wide receiver at UVA named Kanan Severin.
Oh, yeah.
He's he's a good friend of mine. He's actually from the town next to me in Massachusetts. So we grew up playing basketball against each other. And then in high school, he transferred schools and put on like 30 pounds in a summer.
Wow.
And turned into a football problem. But Kanan's a great guy. He's a huge athlete.
So I bring this up for a specific reason, right? So we have a Division I athlete in our family. Our youngest daughter's a Division I athlete. So the mentality of a Division I, 2, or 3, because they're all the same, mentality is a little bit different. It's much like being a Marine, right? You know, you just solve a problem, go fix it. But more importantly, I mean, you did this to me last night you called me? I can't remember what time it was, like 8 or 9 o'clock, past my bedtime, by the way, you know, asking questions. So you're not afraid to be coached, right? You understand the value of that and asking questions on it. So, you know, you've been in the business for 60 days in the middle of this COVID thing. What have you learned that you did not expect to happen to you? Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I'll even go back a second because I think I can add on to the athlete piece. And this is something that's, as an athlete, I think a lot of other people will relate to this. And thank you for all the compliments. I might be a little out of basketball shape right now because I can't get on the court. But thank you, everyone, for saying that. When you have an athlete's DNA, you're very used to the process of being bad at something or getting good at something. Sure. So to me, I didn't think twice about, you know, quote unquote, being bad at real estate. It's just a process you have to go through of study, of learning how to network, learning the ins and outs. But I probably don't even realize the full extent of how much that doesn't bother me. I just know it's a process I have to go through. You have to practice on a daily basis. You have to do all the little things you would playing basketball, playing golf, playing pickleball, Jerry, anything else.
That just got me jacked up. I'm ready to run through fire for Matt Kneece right there. I got goosebumps from that. I swear to God, I really did.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was going to be a home runner.
True. That's true.
But failure, right, is a very good teacher. How many shots have you missed, right? What does Jordan say? He missed, I can't remember how many shots.
Yeah. Jordan was cut from the varsity basketball team in his sophomore year. And watching this documentary on ESPN has really put competitiveness into perspective. How does that competitiveness drive you and motivate you, Matt Kneece, to be the best version of yourself?
Great question.
Well, it means everything to me. I'm a very achievement-driven person. And so being the best that I can, being a good example for the people around me is really what motivates me. It kind of what gets me going is that I can help myself succeed at a high level and help the people around me do the same thing. That's how the Further Together hashtag started. One of my good friends, Jake Patton, he runs one of the Nike stores in Virginia Beach now. He used to run the one in Barracks, but he would always say I think it's an African proverb, but you can travel fast alone, but you can travel further together.
Sure.
And so that's where that came from, is everyone's got their strengths, but the work ethic needs to be there. The commitment needs to be there. And when you come together, you can go really far.
So you did some rock star thing with and I really want to understand the genesis of this restaurant initiative you did. It was freaking awesome. So how did that idea come? How did you put it together? And how did you manage it to become so successful?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell the whole story of every meaningful step as quickly as possible, because I actually think it's an amazing lesson in marketing that I didn't really control every step along the way. I really just started it, and I actually started it in a very different direction, and it turned into something amazing.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Oh, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And to answer your first question, I was more nervous to post that video than anything I've posted on social media in 12 months.
Wow.
I was that first one.
That was the one at the coffee shop in Green? Is that the one? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that was at Murray Bet.
The first one was just me sitting in my living room announcing it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So the first one was me sitting in my living room announcing it. Every share that this gets is $10 from me to a local restaurant. And I wasn't nervous, to be honest. I wasn't nervous that it wasn't going to work. I was nervous that it was, and I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Right, and then you were going to be like $15,000 at a restaurant.
Yeah. I know. What if it got 100 shares?
Hey, Keith,
yeah.
Can I borrow some money?
Yeah. what if I got 100 shares and I owed $1,000 that I didn't have?
Hey Keith,
but
can I borrow some money?
I would be calling up. How's your bank statements looking?
You'd have to ask.
But
Yonna.
so that was the start. Was a post, and the whole reason why I did it was I wanted to support the community, but also I'm always, same as Sasha, I'm always thinking about ways to brand. I'm always thinking about ways to network. I'm always thinking about ways to be in the community, and I wanted to start something to get some attention, to get some notability, and so it started with that. The first day that I did it, so then it got 10 shares, and I went to Murphy's Coffee and Bagel House, which is a phenomenal restaurant. One of my friends is the manager over there, and I did the first $100. And interestingly enough, it started very slow. So no one took advantage of the free money the first day, which was very interesting. And then the second day, it exploded. So the money ran out, and then someone added $100, and then someone added $20 without me really starting that. So I didn't start the other people adding on. That was somebody else. And then from there, I started to share the fact that other people were doing it, and other people saw that I did it. And it went from 100 to 1,000 in a couple of days, relatively quickly. I did a second video. That's when it went and then from 1,000, one of my friends, Jacob Conley, challenged his friend, Tom Morgan, who's a radio host. Tom Morgan challenged both the news stations. We got on the news, and we went from 1,000 to 4,000 in like 3 or 4 days.
How about that? Your boy Jacob Conley's watching. He's embarrassing you a little bit right there. He says
no, what he said?
He says this kid's birthday is tomorrow. Everybody, let's sing Matt Kneece a happy birthday on the show. How old are you, Matt Kneece? How old are you tomorrow?
I'm 27 tomorrow.
27 years young, Keith Smith. Keith Smith's about to say this. You MFers make me feel old. Isn't that what you're saying right now?
I'm just shaking my head. So you don't want to hear me sing, that's for sure. And I'm not pretty sure you don't want him to sing.
Liza,
the dog mascot, probably could do a better job. So Jerry stole some of my thunder because I was going to wish you a happy birthday, but happy birthday to you. Early happy birthday to you, brother. 27,
Thanks so much, man.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
27 years young.
There you go, buddy.
Freddie Jackson says this to Matt Kneece. Freddie Jackson, the founder of the Love No Ego Foundation, watching right now. He says, Matt Kneece is a great dude. Failure is feedback. I love that, Matt Kneece. Yeah. Keep up the good and hard work. All right. Going into, let's talk real estate. Sharon says hello, and she says, guys, let's talk real estate. So we'll get out of your way. Real estate 2020. What are you thinking of this market?
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning as fast as everyone else is right now. And, something that I've learned and read several times is that some of the most successful entrepreneurs, some of the most successful businesses were actually born in a recession, or if you want to make it very general, were born during times of adversity, because it, like you guys were saying, it teases out the people that aren't going to make it anyways. It brings a higher level of creativity out of you. It takes a higher level of adaptation out of you. So I've actually been asked this question before of what I think the COVID-19 virus has affected the real estate market for me particularly. And I actually think it's probably had less of an effect on me than it has on veteran agents.
Sure.
If you talk to a veteran agent and maybe it's had a 25% difference on their volume, my volume's at 0. I got my license 2 weeks before the virus, so it's had a 0% change on my $0 volume. So really, I was going to do the same exact thing anyways when I got my license. It was just branding and marketing 100 miles an hour. Real estate wise, from my inexperienced perspective, I was always anticipating exactly what you guys were saying earlier on the show, that if we slow down for a period of time, there's always a correction. The world always has to correct itself to normal. And so I was always expecting the second half of this year to make up for the first half. And that's been my mindset. That's what I've been preparing for.
So I don't like the term inexperienced because you are inexperienced in life. So I don't want people to walk away that inexperience. To me, it has a very negative term to
Thanks
it.
for that.
But we had a conversation yesterday, and thank you for reaching out to me to help. But you lost a transaction to a multiple offer, right? So this and the comment that you made is 100% right. I think you would be dealing with this the same way, regardless if COVID-19 was in or not. But you lost a multiple sale. You showed another property with multiple offers yesterday. I haven't had a chance to talk to you how it went on it, but you've got a listing. I know we're working together on a couple of deals on it to help kind of move the ball along. So, how does it feel? Does it feel like you thought it was going to feel? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that question does make sense, and it does feel like I expected.
Cool.
Everything's moving right along. I was showing property yesterday. I was writing an offer the day before. That house was on the market for 24 hours, and it had 2 offers, and the other offer was chosen a month ago. I was showing another property, and we submitted an offer that sold in 48 hours with 5 offers. And so from everything that I can see, and we have a new listing, like Keith said, a couple other properties that we're working on. From everything that I can tell, the things are moving exactly as I expected them to be.
Good. Well, you're going to be a rock star. We've got a special guest coming in here in a few minutes. You can stay on and watch if you would like. But you're a rock star. You're going to do good. You're welcome on the show anytime. And keep those great ideas you got coming, man. That was just a great idea.
I love it. Why don't we close with this, Matt? We'll throw you an opportunity for a final word for Charlottesville. I Love CVille and this network and the Yes Team. We're about hope and positivity and momentum. We may take one step backwards, but we always go 2 steps forwards most days. Before we do, I'm going to give you props from a lot of the viewers. Brandon and Kristen Harrop say Matt is one smart guy. Michael Guthrie's watching the show. He says he's been a tremendous addition, Matt Kneece, to Roy Wheeler Realty Company. Julie Ballard says, Matt, I am extremely proud of you. Tim Ryan says, I don't know this man, but I've seen him on social media, and he has had a positive impact on our community. Andre Xavier, Chief Executive Officer of CVille Hop On Tours, also says, I don't know Matt Kneece, but I follow him on social. Please tell him I said thank you. This comes in from Crozet. Jerry, please tell your guest I bought a gift card because of this movement. Tell him thank you. I can continue. We're live on 12 Facebook pages. I'm going to get out of the way. The show is yours. Give us something of inspiration and hope here, anywhere you want to go.
That's absolutely incredible. I couldn't say a big enough thank you for any of that. I think the biggest message I can say is that it means so much to me to know that I don't have a hand in all of the ripples of impact that we started. The coolest part was when I heard that $3,000 worth of donations were given to one single restaurant, and I hadn't been told about any of it because they had heard about the movement and they wanted to join. But it wasn't a Matt Kneece thing. It was just a movement thing. And I decided to stay here 5 years ago when I wasn't planning on it because I liked the community so much and I started to fall in love with the people. And so to hear that I'm starting to have an impact like that on the community means the absolute world to me. It's why I do what I do. It's why I started the Meals and Deals joke 6 months ago, because I just wanted to hang out with my friends at restaurants and talk to them and build relationships. And to hear that all of those people that I haven't met yet and don't know yet see what I do and appreciate it and are willing to comment and encourage me in that way, that fuels me up more than anything else in the world.
You're an inspiration, Matt.
Dude, he crushed this.
You're
You
an
crushed
inspiration.
this. You crushed this.
Thank you.
Got me jacked up, dude. I'm ready to go 225 12 times. The reality is I can only put the plates on the bar for 225. This guy can actually throw the weight up, 220. I've seen it
No
at
way.
ACAC. How many times do you do 225, dude?
On a bench press? Maybe like once these days.
No. In your heyday, how many times?
In my heyday, I could do 6 or 7.
That's
Best
legit.
I ever did was 6 or 7.
That's legit. You crushed it. Thank you, homie.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
Thanks,
Matt.
gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely unbelievable right there.
You know, I knew he was going to. I knew we were going to have a bunch of rock stars on today, and we're about ready to have another one. So you want to do the intro?
I'm going to. Judah, are you ready for this, baby? We're going to welcome
We're going to welcome my wife first.
We're going to welcome three even more beautiful people to the show.
Oh, my God.
This has been the Beautiful People Guest Show. Have you noticed that? Keith and I are like, what are we doing here? Give me a mask, too. I need to cover my face.
I got one.
I need to cover my face. You got Sasha Farmer to Matt Kneece to your wife and your daughters right now.
I'm saying it out loud. You should be wearing
They're
one.
on the line. Judah, give us the thumbs up where we can welcome them on the show. Judah is giving us the thumbs up as we speak. Yonna Smith, hello. You are live for Charlottesville and Central Virginia. How are you?
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So good to see you again.
How about this? Matt Kneece and Sasha Farmer to you, Yonna.
Amazing people. Amazing. Absolutely. Love working with them. Love to learn from them. Love having them in our lives, and they're just amazing.
Who is this?
That's little
Hello. Look.
Hey, Harry. Hey, Harry. It's
Introduce
Pop.
everybody.
It's Pop. So that's Yasmina. That's little Harry. Hey, say Pop. Hey, how you doing? Look at this. Uh-oh, somebody.
Dude, great hair runs in the family.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that's Yvonne.
Yes,
That's
Yvonne.
So Yonna. Do they all not look alike?
Oh, they do. They're beautiful. They take after their mother.
Thank God.
Thank you.
They'd look silly with
Little
them.
hair like that.
He
Little-
likes that joke too.
Hey, little Harry. So in 4 days, that young lady's going to be married to me for 34 years
That's amazing.
on the 26th. How many days
34
is
years.
that?
Congratulations.
Yeah, 34 years. Can
Yes.
you imagine that?
We have a beautiful young lady here too.
Oh.
34 years old. So
Introduce everybody else.
Yeah, so I don't know how it's looking on the screen, but the taller one, the 6'2", is Yasmina. The next one down is Yvonne. And then, of course, Yonna, then little Harry. And I just thought I'd take an opportunity to say hi to the Wiggle Worm.
absolutely.
Hello,
Right.
Harry.
We absolutely.
Harry.
You have a mustache mask.
I've got one getting sewn on, baby.
Oh, good.
It kept on falling off, and it was just crazy.
Ask him some questions.
I don't know. I just wanted to see my family. That's all, man.
The wiggle worm. We lost the wiggle worm to trolls.
The trolls.
Anybody needs to see a movie 100 times and needs to know all the lyrics. Watch that. It's absolutely amazing. So that's what I've been doing for the
Look
past
and
4
look,
decades,
you're
watching
coordinating
those
with
movies.
Green. Very well done, ladies.
Lauren says that little boy is so cute
Isn't he?
on the
Isn't-
feed right now.
Isn't he?
He is amazing. He is definitely sweet and amazing.
So, Yonna, what did you think about today's show? What did you think about Sasha Farmer and Matt and talking about the market?
I'm going to let the ladies answer that question because they listen
I
to
was
it too.
watching a kid.
He was watching.
I was watching.
And
Very
well,
much.
like rounded, and I like that she has a lot of involvement in the community and that she promotes public speaking and just really nice to see a fellow lady out there rocking it and promoting herself and
absolutely,
the whole
absolutely.
nine yards.
So Yvonne is a school teacher, and Yasmina over there is a makeup artist. She does all these fancy people that I have no idea who they are, and to include my lovely wife. On that stuff, and they can't do anything with this mug, but they try. And little Harry. So I didn't really have anything planned. I just wanted to say hi to my
This is
family.
great. This
Say
is
hi to
great.
my family
People
in front,
are watching
in
you
front
guys.
of 200. Yeah, well, welcome.
Only way we can talk to him anyway.
Oh, was that a dig?
All right, I got a question for the ladies. Guys, give us the best Keith Smith story.
Oh shit.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
So, I was 6 or 7, and we were flying back visiting my grandmother,
Oh no.
and we had a layover in
Okay, hey, it's 11:15.
this was back and you didn't have phones or anything. So Dad had to change his watch 6 hours from Austria to the United States. But he only did it 5 hours. And we had a connecting flight into Charlottesville. And I hadn't seen Mom for 2 months at that time.
Yeah.
Because I spent time with my grandmother as a kid. And I kept telling him that our flight was boarding, and he kept ignoring me. And he's like, fine, don't worry, it's fine, we have time. And we ended up missing our flight. And I was sobbing at the gate going, I told you should have listened to me. You should have listened to me. And
How many years ago was that? That was 28 years ago. And I every day I hear it, every time.
Oh, he's
You know, and so the moral of the story is, just listen to the women in your life.
Yeah, I mean, you're surrounded by that.
Just listen to
The
them.
fish is a woman.
The fish is a woman. I got a female dog, female cat. I think the fish are female, but I can't tell. So I'm going with that. So what's your favorite me story, Yvonne?
She's gonna be nice about it.
No, I mean, I have a lot of really sweet memories, but I think my favorite, like, this is where I get my palm to forehead from, like, you. You know, I was like, I have a dog, and her name is Luna. She's very sweet. We were just talking about this today. And when I had first gotten her, she was like a really skinny kind of rescue pup. And I was away at work, and I came home, and I found like Dad with his glasses on, and like the flashlight, and my dog just like on her back, like, what is going on? And Dad's got tweezers, and he's like, there's ticks all over her. There's ticks all over her. And I was like, oh my God, there's ticks all over Luna. And I go,
Was it her nipples? Did you just take her punchline?
I did. Because they froze up.
They're frozen.
yeah. And I'm like, Dad. And Luna's like, this has been an hour. Like, help me. I'm like, those are attached to her,
Yeah, no,
Dad. You
it's true.
cannot take them.
She got very focused.
It's true.
Yeah. And then he's embarrassed.
I thought they were ticks. What do I know?
Oh, God. I'm lying over here. You might have to take us to the close. Crying over here. He was taking the dog's nipples off because they thought they were ticks.
I was trying.
Is that right?
Because he cares.
I know.
I think a lot
So whose idea was to bring
This
these
was
people?
your
This is
idea.
my
I'm
idea.
a huge fan of your pops. I think you guys already know that. I enjoy his mischievous ways and his young energy. You're trying to take the dog's nipples off.
I thought they were ticks.
He was concerned.
I-
Just concerned.
Thank you,
and
Yasmina.
wanted to-
Thank you. Thank you.
They're fiercely loyal. They're ready to come
Thank
out
you.
of the
You're my
screen and go
favorite,
after
Yasmina.
me.
Yeah, well, we live with them.
Oh!
Well, Mom lives with them.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
It's been
guys.
a fun ride.
Yonna, you're
It's been a
awesome.
fun- Absolutely, guys. Have yourself a great Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
for having us. Oh, Mike, I have a question. Oh, there's just so many, Jerry.
Yeah.
It's just not enough time. I can only tell you that this young lady was almost born on the Free Bridge because my husband was on the phone
I was.
and did not believe me that
Yeah.
I really needed to go to the hospital
Oh, yeah.
to deliver her. So
Yeah.
that's one of the fun stories.
You know what? My wife is watching right now, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you did the same thing for me." She's like, "You have to take me to the hospital right now." The doctor said, "You got to wait till you're so and so dilated," and he told us this morning, honey. And she goes, "You have to take me to the hospital right now." And I said, "The doctor this morning said you're not dilated enough, and we're supposed to wait this morning." And then she finally went to me and said, "If you don't take me to the hospital right now, I'm going to strangle you." And she was exactly right. I was wrong.
So you and I are exactly the same.
That we redid the upstairs here, and my mom found a bunch of old photos and stuff, and it was all of their old letters to one another when they were they had to be separated because Dad had to come back to Canada for the Marines, and Mom was still in Europe. So you got to see like they've been in love ever since. And it's just a sweet moment.
We only knew each other for 3
Thank
months
you.
before
Thank
I
you for
asked her to
sharing
marry
that.
me.
That's awesome.
3
That is
months.
awesome.
Well, I just want to say thank you for having us on and for all you're doing. And
I wonder if my husband's watching. He's supposed
Can you tell him I said hello? Is he there? Is he at home or is he in Connecticut?
Oh, he's working.
Oh, he's in Connecticut. Okay. Tell him I said hello. You guys are awesome. I feel like I know you guys through these stories from him. You guys have a good one.
Have a good Memorial Day. Talk
Thank you,
All right.
babe.
Bye, Harry.
Love you, little Harry. Watching Trolls.
You have a beautiful family.
Thank you. We're very blessed. Very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. But it's funny. We didn't even talk about that. We have the same story
What's that?
about, hey, so many dilated.
Yeah.
So many minutes.
Well, we have also a similar story. I met my wife on an airplane on July 10th.
Yeah.
Coming back from our office in New Jersey in LaGuardia Airport. Literally met her on an airplane from LaGuardia to Charlottesville.
Yeah.
July 10th. By August 29th, she had quit a $137,000 job working as an analyst at Blackstone, the hedge fund in the city. She quit that job from July 10th to August 29th, moved into my house with no job, and by the following March, we were engaged.
So not that I have to top that,
I think you are going to try to
but I'm going to try to top
Good.
it. Yonna was on the track to be an ambassador.
I
Right.
know the story.
And
Yeah.
3 months, so came here with a child, no job.
Yeah.
We had no future. We
Yeah.
didn't know. We just had each other. And 34 years later, man, it goes that fast. It goes 34 years later. You're talking to them on a Skype, on a
With your grandson.
With your grandson.
On a talk show.
On a talk show. Who knew?
Talking about dogs' nipples.
Dogs' nipples.
Keith, you are a joy.
Thank you, but I enjoy every minute of the time.
I enjoy this as well. His name is Keith Smith. He is
we got a video at the back.
1/8 of the 7/8 of the Yes Team Realtors. Before we go to the video, final word for you, sir.
Yeah, it was great to talk to Sasha. It was great to talk to Matt, but I love my family. That was everything that we've done. Those couple minutes together was just precious to me. So go ahead, enjoy your Memorial Day. Think about a vet. If you've got one in your life, say thank you to him. Barbara
Lugren says, Keith Smith, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank a vet. Thank a veteran for their service.
Yep.
Judah, we're going to have that video coming up in about 5 or 6 seconds. You have that video ready to go, sir? Okay. We'll close Real Talk.
Yeah.
An insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness, powered by the Yes Team Realtors, with this message. Judah, play it in 3, 2, and 1.